broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akaman. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey everybody, welcome to the Legend of Korra after show, and with quite ominous music playing, as not only did we had an ominous end to the previous episode leading into this, we also have a very ominous ending to this episode, titled Reunion, episode 7 of the series. But before continuing on, with me today is Mr. Tauri J. Miller.
Hey, hey.
And ladies and gentlemen, I am John Quick. Unfortunately, Miss Liz Rishmawi will not be joining us this week. She is feeling rather sick.
Yes, tweet at her, show her your love, let her know that she should get better so she can talk to you about the show.
I know, it's like, it's kind of strange because it's, you know, anytime that I'm here, it almost seems like she's not, and anytime that I'm not here, she is. What if we're the same person and I don't know it?
That would be interesting. We had theorized that it's like a Ranma situation. If anyone's familiar with that anime, is it's guy turns into a girl when hit by water, and I think it's that.
I think it's that. That's what's going on.
Yeah,
that would explain so much about my life. I'm not gonna, you know, maybe if I actually meet Liz at one time, maybe we'll figure that out.
I don't think it'll ever happen.
Don't think it'll ever happen. Yeah, I mean, you know, if the Ranma thing is true, then it's totally impossible.
Yep.
But
water.
but continuing on, so as we all know, last episode a lot of really bad stuff happened. The last Earth Kingdom city of Zaofu has fallen. Su Yin and her family are taken captive, and Korra had to flee from the battlefield and return to her Republic City to regroup. So we start off with something though a little bit light to bring us in. Pabu and Naga, which I've been wondering where Pabu had been.
They're just hanging out in Republic City, you know, sleeping, napping, playing with tails. Just all around.
There was a great little intro. It was just like, oh my god, Pabu, I've missed you so much. Why aren't you around Bolin to do Pabu-ish things? Like help him escape from a net, which we'll get to in a bit.
Yeah.
But we see, just coming in, we see Korra landing with the other airbending kids, and immediately Tenzin steps up to just basically ask her, it's like, so, where have you been? What's the situation?
Well, it's long and complicated. The short of it is that she, you know, went to the Earth Empire, got her butt handed to her, and is now in Republic City.
Yeah, which, you know, I guess, like, you and Liz no doubt went into depth about, like, kind of what caused her to lose that fight, and then this is just all kind of like a recap to get everybody caught up to speed.
Yeah.
But one of the things is Boomy's back. I like the fact that Boomy's back, and he's lost a lot of weight in the past 3 years. He is looking fit.
Well, the Air Nomad diet will do that to you. It's all, what is it, kale and soy products? I don't know.
I don't know, but it's maybe it's just those those wind suits are slimming. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what I need to be wearing, just like as I go out, just like little wing suits so that I can, you know, fly about.
I'm all about it. I think every week, every day actually, you should just wear a winged squirrel suit. You can't fly, but if you jump off of something high, you can glide for a little bit.
Until I inevitably hit the ground.
Yep.
Going at terminal velocity. Almost guaranteed, Tori. Why are you...
Well, learn airbending first, then.
You know, the thing about it is I'm probably going to do it since you talked me into it, but now, what? I don't even know, man.
I'm sorry. I can't control my powers of convincing. I say things, and people do them. I don't control what comes out of my mouth.
Well, I guess we're just going to have to watch your Jedi mind tricks in the future, but... Yeah. Speaking on recaps, we get from them, and now we find out what Varric and Bolin have been up to, which has mostly been Bolin carrying Varric on his back for reasons.
Yeah.
Through the way, and they definitely look like they've been wandering the woods for at least a few days with the way that their I guess uniforms are looking. But
yeah, they're torn and muddy. Their boots are disgusting and dirty.
And just Varric's whole response to Bolin asking him is like, you know, would it kill you to walk on your own? And he was like, Julie carried me 20 miles when we were fleeing from Republic City, and that's after she turned her ankle.
Right, that was ridiculous. I'm surprised that Bolin went along with it for as long as he did. But you get that sweet, not to jump ahead too much, but you get that sweet turnaround when Bolin jumps on his back, and it's great.
Yeah, I think that Varric just has an ability to talk people into certain things, just with his like his very, very just pushy demeanor and like commanding voice. But you know, so that's possibly why. But this is a good scene in which we've seen Bolin. He's been progressing like kind of over the season as the seasons go. He started off as basically like Sokka light, and has now become Sokka proper almost. As we see just in that one scene with, you know, he gives this like speech to Varric about how they have a responsibility, and specifically he has a responsibility because he just created the super weapon. They have to get to Republic City. Now get back on your feet. And he lifts him up, and then Varric apparently is so motivated, he's just like, how about you take a rest? Hop on. And they get like 3 steps because Bolin obviously weighs a lot more than Varric.
Yeah.
And then they get caught right in a net trap.
The most obvious net trap in the world. Like, even as a viewer, I was like, man, that patch of grass is pretty light.
And Bolin's reaction was classic. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. It was like one of those classics. Okay, now suddenly this is happening.
Right. But kind of touching back on Bolin's growth, like I feel like it's good. It's time. Like, everyone else has progressed and everyone's grown, and like not just in age since 3 years have passed, but like he used to rely on Mako a lot more and just to kind of guide him through life, and now he has to kind of stand on his own 2 feet. And he tried that with Kuvira, but he was still kind of leeching off of her power. But now he has to essentially lead himself, and I think he's doing a great job of it, I guess.
He's been surprisingly good at actually stepping up. I mean, I guess it was just one of those things that was always within him, but he never had to.
Right.
Just with his past history. So it's good to see him, and I want to see like where this is going to go further, as like we're going to end the episode with some twinkling as to what might be coming up in the future. But then we skip on back to our friends of Republic City, and Korra and Mako and Asami are all meeting up at this restaurant to catch up, which I get why they're doing that. Like, after you've been gone for 3 years, you definitely want to catch up with your friends, but this does seem a little bit like, hey guys, I know that you need to like meet, but maybe there's more pressing things happening.
Well, I mean, but she's kind of, it's like getting the band back together. Because, I mean, she has just suffered a great loss, and she's been through a lot. So I think these are the people that she feels she trusts the most. And so I understand kind of trying to take some time and getting back into their world. I mean, yeah, they're pressing things, but there's nothing that they can do about it at this point.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I'm guessing, like, the Tenzin is on, like, putting the wheels in motion to get the United Republic Army and possibly the Fire Nation Army in a coalition together to face off against Kuvira, or do something along those lines is the only thing I think. And then it really does come down to, you know, kind of a sit and wait. But there's some really nice moments, especially like Korra and Asami like meeting again after all these years, and Asami like complimenting her on her hair, and they're just like kind of like just being all girly back and forth was, well, it was kind of refreshing because you almost never see Korra, especially hanging out with Toph. Like, none of that came up.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was one of those moments where all the people who are all about Kurosami.
Yeah, shipping Kurosami.
Yeah. Like, especially how blushy she got when her hair was complimented. I was like, man, the shippers are going to be out tonight.
Which, you know, I can see where they get that, but I also think that that's just like, you know, girl friendships back and forth.
Yeah.
You know.
I agree.
You know, I compliment you on your jacket. You just go, oh, thanks, because that's guys. We got to put up the stone wall. But
Well, right, and I don't have the hair to twirl, so I mean.
yeah, I don't anymore. I got it all cut off.
One day, John.
It'll be back.
Okay.
Because hair grows. I
It
think.
does.
But to lighten their mood, but unfortunately to little rain on their parade, Mako was unable to dump Prince Wu.
Yeah.
And Prince Wu is just with them in the booth at this restaurant, which I guess, you know, is sort of good because as he says, he knows the chef personally, which I guess that's nice. But like, no, it's very clear, nobody wants him there, and then he's awkwardly hitting on Korra.
Yeah.
The entire time because he knows that Asami, that's you know, it's already struck out there.
Though, like, he's taken the licks pretty good. Like, no matter what she says to reject him, he's on it with another line. He definitely wants some Avatar friendship.
Yeah. Well, you know, it would be creepy if he were like a little bit more, I guess, like self-aware. But since it's almost like a 5-year-old hitting on her or something like that. So I'm glad that it doesn't stray into the creepy category, but I loved how Mako said, it's like, don't worry, he'll be on your best behavior. So can you go into the Avatar state? I want to see your eyes glow. She's like, no.
But that helps lead us to that reveal, or I guess reveal for Mako, that Asami knew that she couldn't go into the Avatar state, and that Korra had been writing to her. So that's nice. It served a purpose, I guess.
It made a little bit. I mean, it made a little bit of tension, and it was kind of like their relationship is like starting back again because all these, like, for us, it's only been a month since they saw each other, more or less. But for Korra, it's been 3 years. She has not seen any of her friends, and she has only responded once to Asami.
Yeah.
And so they've obviously been up to quite a bit, and Korra has, you know, except for the past 6 months, she's pretty much been just in the southern water tribe, like basically going through physical therapy, trying to recuperate.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is kind of one of those things, like Mako was understandably hurt that somebody who thought was like one of his best friends, you know, didn't write back to him. He must have figured that, oh, Bolin isn't getting any letters back. I'm not. So, you know, I guess she's just not responding to anybody. He needs some alone time. But then he finds out that she responded to Asami. He was just like, oh, so that's where I stand.
Right. I mean, and as, I guess from my perspective, I'm like, as her ex-boyfriend, you know, and past love triangle person, I mean, you can't be too hurt that, like, the only person that she replied to was, like, basically her best friend.
Yeah.
You know? But still, I guess I understand how he feels.
I can understand a little bit, especially since, like, he's been in a really crappy situation guarding Prince Wu, which he really doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, which is just further, we get, like, as soon as Prince Wu has decided that he needs to go tinkle, he tells Mako, it's like, I need you to go stand guard while I pee. And he goes, no, you're just going to go to the bathroom by yourself for once.
And the one time that he doesn't go and guard him, he encounters the shadiest bathroom attendant in the history of the world, going, how about a spritz of cologne?
Make it a double. And then just gets knocked out. And, you know, I understand where Mako's coming from. Like, he's tired of dealing with Prince Wu's nonsense.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's just also at the end of the day, with the last time we saw them, he had basically told Prince Wu that, hey, you need to grow up. And, you know, him telling him to go to a bathroom by himself is kind of part of that, but it's also just a part of Mako's patience is at an end.
Yeah.
With him. But at the same time, it's like, you know, you can't leave him alone. You really can't. He's going to get kidnapped, which he really does. Like, if you do it at any point, and we know that Kuvira supporters are within Republic City. Like, that's... I understand where Mako's coming from. I think I would possibly make the same decision if I were in his shoes, but also at the same time, it's just like, yeah.
Though up until this point, the worst thing that's happened to him is that he's gotten a pie thrown at him.
Yeah,
so
true.
It's like, I mean, maybe he'll slip on a banana peel. I mean, is the worst that he thinks could happen. I mean, no one expected him to get kidnapped.
I guess not, but they notice that he's been gone for a little while, and so Mako gets up to basically go to the bathroom to investigate, and Korra just like sees somebody pushing a laundry cart out of the corner of her eye, and it's one of those, like, you know, classic TV moment, like, tip-offs where she goes out, she asks the guys, like, hey, have you seen Prince Wu? And the dude's like, no, I'm not seen anybody like that. And then Prince Wu just comes rolling out of the laundry.
Yeah. I'm in the laundry.
And then that proceeds to start one of the most epic chase scenes we've seen in this show in a long while. That one was a lot of fun. So they just take off in Asami's car, trying to chase down this Earth Empire vehicle, and like the entire time the Earth Empire guys are like putting up like roadblocks and trying to avoid them, and Mako's telling Asami, like, you know, take a left on 7th, and Asami just ignores him, and he's like, well, wait, why didn't you do a left on 7th? She goes, I built most of these roads.
That was great. Like, just because Asami has been kind of like a side character. Like, she's just kind of been support, but now she's able to kind of forward her knowledge. Because, I mean, yeah, she built the city, she built the trains. Like, she is a prominent person in the city.
And then when they finally do stop the truck, which that was a great badass moment. That was Korra leaping off of the overpass onto a moving truck, metal bending it open, and then grabbing a guy, throwing him into the back, and then stopping. That's John McClane worthy.
Right. Though I will say that the amount that she was metal bending in this episode kind of like made her loss last week a little more aggravating, because like Kuvira was only using metal bending against her, and so she didn't at any point use it back, but we know that she, if not proficient, she knows how to metal bend.
I think that there was a lot going on in that fight last week that I guess like a lot of it was internal, and we're starting to see. We've seen Korra overcome her physical restrictions, and now she has these mental restrictions that she has to get over, which I'm not quite sure where it's coming from, whether it is self-doubt or the Avatar state, or Rava is trying to reach out to her in some way.
Right.
To tell her to do something, because the entire time that Nega Korra that we've seen has been trying to lead Korra to a better place. Yeah. So I don't know what it was thinking in that point where it changed Kuvira into Nega Korra. Mm-hmm. But though, speaking of spiritual powers, so they stop the truck, they notice that Prince Wu's not in there, and then Korra, taking just a nice lesson from Toph, reaches out to the spirit vines and is immediately able to track down where Prince Wu is. That's next level Avatar stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That is definitely, I guess, a new progression for Korra, as we see her, instead of just straight using her fists and her ability to just blow everything up, we actually see her kind of using more of her tactics and intelligence.
Mm-hmm. Which is great, because like now you get to see her be more in touch with the spirits. Because like we know, like a couple seasons back, that was her biggest downfall, and even up until her meeting with Toph, like she still had no trust in the spirits and the vines and all that stuff. But now she's using those tools that she's learning and progressing as a person. And
also as the Avatar, which I guess like her being able to reach out into the spirit vine connection thing is kind of like Aang learning energy bending. Mm. Is a little bit, because it is kind of like one of those Avatar only superpowers, or
right.
Avatar only-ish superpowers, as we can very clearly see Toph has that superpower.
Right.
But, you know, Toph just uses it to kind of creepily watch her daughters do their life.
Totally. It's like her having a GPS in her kid's phone. Same difference.
So, yeah, same thing. Little helicopter-y parent, kind of. But they track down Prince Wu, as I see in Prince Zuko Square. They're right in the train station, so they know that the Earth Empire guys are going to probably take Prince Wu to Ba Sing Se or somebody. They're taking him back into the Earth Empire.
Yeah.
For
reasons.
Well, I think it's so that Kuvira can cement her overall authority of the Earth Empire, because so long as that Prince Wu is at large, like they can, like, I guess the United Republic and the other world leaders can claim that
he's the rightful heir to the Earth Kingdom, essentially.
Yeah, and it could like split like maybe some of her loyalties, and I don't think it would be that hard because as we see like Bolin and Varric started questioning her her motives. There has to be more people within the Earth Empire that are starting going, is everything getting a little extreme?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, though, at the same time, like, what's she gonna do? Publicly execute him? Like, having him, I mean, maybe she'll put him in one of the re-education camps, but, like, her having Wu, I feel like, doesn't benefit her in any way, shape, or form.
Actually, I think he can abdicate to her.
Yes?
Yeah. I mean, if he's the rightful heir, if he takes the crown and presents it to her as, like, I recognize you now as the rightful ruler, because if he's the king, his word is law, technically. Right. If he gets her to do that, then her, like, political legitimacy is just cemented. I guess that's probably where she's going with it.
Most likely.
We know with Kuvira. So they get onto the train after just a brief little chat of, oh yeah, I met Toph in a swamp. And they're like, what was that like? A lot like Lynn, only crankier.
Is that possible?
Well, they get into the train, which again we have another epic vehicle fight on top of the train where they manage to successfully free Prince Wu and escape. Mm-hmm. Which, great moments all around as they're getting metal bended on both sides by those different metal benders, and Asami at least takes down 2 guys and Mako takes down another, and then Korra just grabs them and the air bends them down, and they all have a group hug minus Prince Wu because no, dude.
Yeah, I just love the hand to the face where it's like, no, you don't belong here.
And then I guess a fitting end to all of this, dropping off Prince Wu at Asami's place where Mako's family is.
Oh my gosh, I love that the grandma, who was super worshipy of the Earth Queen, just has this fantastical moment where Wu is glowing and bathed in sunlight. That should be fun for him, being worshipped while he's staying at that mansion.
Yeah, I think that it might do negative things for his growth and development. Maybe.
Probably.
Or it might help him connect with the common people of the Earth Kingdom, and he might become a better person for it. That's for future episodes to discern. But going back to Bolin and Varric, as they're now hanging from a net, we suddenly see some prisoners come along, and they're like, well, look what we have here.
And they're just basically, they look like they're going to kill them because they're in the Kuvira outfits, or the uniforms, as Bolin pleads for his life.
And then Varric is shouting the worst possible things. That he's like, we're part of her inner circle. And Bolin's like, dude, shut up. But ends up working to their favor. So these prisoners, as we find out, Kuvira has been doing a purge of the Earth Kingdom. It's like, basically, if you're not of the Earth Kingdom, you are getting out of the Earth Kingdom. So everybody that is in this group of prisoners is either a waterbender or a firebender, and that's, I mean, we've seen that at least the United Republic, everybody has like been living together, so it's not hard to imagine that like now Water Tribe people and Fire Nation people have started living and like probably working within the Earth Kingdom over the past 50 years or so.
Yeah, I mean, Ba Sing Se was the only really segregated place. Everywhere else within the Earth Kingdom was kind of just a melting pot of different people, like shop owners and stuff like that.
So yeah, this is again what like we already have like a lot of disturbing news about Kuvira, and this is just an extra one of those things that she's basically purging her own citizens and seeking a sort of purity. Yes. Which anytime a leader is talking about searching for purity, I'm actually trying to think of a time in history where that hasn't been bad things, and I can't really find one.
No, I don't. I'm sure that it doesn't exist, unless maybe purity of diamonds. Yep, someone wanted pure diamonds. That's it. That's all I got.
Which even then, I think that doesn't end well either.
No, it does not. There is no incidence in the history of the world where purity has led to good things.
But they find out their plan. The prisoners are just like, okay, you guys are, top Kuvira, top men in Kuvira's army. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go to this border checkpoint, and you're going to lead us through. And Bolin and Varric are just like, no, you don't understand. We were top men. Now we're probably exceptionally wanted.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, as far as they knew, Kuvira assumed they were dead. So showing their face is like the last thing that they would want to do. Which I'm surprised that they're actually being searched for. But I guess Kuvira is covering all her bases.
That sounds like her. And I mean, like, they never recover. It's kind of like one of those things of they never recovered the body. So, you know, you got to assume the worst until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
But of course, Bolin and Varric break their bonds fairly easily, with Bolin lava bending, which no doubt came as a big surprise. And then Bolin, again, showing those new leadership abilities, strikes a deal with these prison escapees, and it's just like, we will help you if you help us, basically at that time. And so then they start leading them through the checkpoint. Varric and Bolin at the helm. Everyone is tied up just so they look like they're prisoners. And I love the way that Varric talks his way through the checkpoint. Where he's like, we had to face, what was it, like 6 badger moles. And Hawkbats, it's like, I'm sorry, I don't have the paperwork. I was shoving it down a Hawkbat's throat as it was trying to eat me. So how about you open that gate? And it's just like, yeah, this is how Varric talks people into doing things.
Right.
So he opens the gate, and everything, of course, they also threatened to, like, let Kuvira know that he was questioning her orders. And the speed in which he opens all of that, again, I guess that, questioning loyalties. It's I guess the Earth Kingdom the Earth Empire is all about obedience and not questioning.
Yeah.
But as they're walking through, the guy that's just, like, manning the inner gate just immediately recognizes Bolin and Varric. And that leads into now a fight at the border, where we've seen the mechs fight before, where it was mechs versus mechs, but we saw Bolin pretty handily able to use them. And I was wondering the last time that we really saw this, like, it's like, well, why would you really even need these mechs? Even if you have, like, non-benders in your army, it seems like benders can do, some fair amount of damage. But we saw this time around, no, these mechs are a significant improvement over the ones that were built by Hiroshi, Asami's father.
And they were surprisingly agile. Like, you saw them, like, barrel rolling and, like, shifting, high jumping and grounding themselves. Like, they were super versatile. And I was glad, because I thought that basically Bolin's lava bending was going to be an end-all be-all trump card, but they show that it's not as effective as you would think.
Yeah, it's like they can still dodge. They can still dodge his attacks. They can leap over it. Or like when the waterbender created the ice and you thought it's like, oh, it's going to slip and fall. But nope, like grounded it out.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for Varric coming in and miraculously using an EMP to knock them out, which I guess, score 1 for science, kids.
Right. Though I was like, there are still people inside of them. They could just get out. But the hatch is probably stuck or something like that.
Yeah, I'm guessing like they just shut down all the systems, so now they're stuck inside there.
Yeah.
And that gives Bolin and Varric an opening to run away, but the other prisoners are still kind of trapped fighting. And in that moment, Bolin, I guess, trying to make up for all of the harm that he's unintentionally done, being a lackey of Kuvira, saves them by basically using his lava bending as a trump card at that point.
Yeah. Well, against people, it's like, well, they're going to burn to death otherwise.
Yes.
And I like that moment just because, it was his trump card, but it earned the respect of the prisoners. And now you get these teams of people where I've been harping on it the last few weeks about, like, I want to see the re-education camps, but like now that we've met people from there, we can hear about it and know what the depth of the situation is.
I think the re-education camps may be a little too harsh to show in a children's show.
Maybe.
So I think just hearing about them might be enough.
Yeah. we've seen a woman get air sucked out of her lungs. I think I'm fine.
Well, okay, yeah, that's true. I don't know what they're going. I don't know where they're going to draw the line, but maybe like, maybe just directly calling the Holocaust out might be a bit too much.
Right.
Maybe.
Right. Fair enough.
But then they break free of the border. They're at this they got this rickety boat that they're all about to climb on board and take off, and it's at the moment the prisoners offer Bolin and Varric. It says, we're heading north too. Obviously, I think they're heading to Republic City.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the only safe shore that they could possibly reach, especially with that. As Varric says, it's like, well, hey, what? Get on that thing? No, I'm allergic to drowning.
Yeah.
So, but Bolin basically gives Varric a mean look, and then they both agree to step on board. So I think, which I'm excited to see in the upcoming episodes, to see Bolin taking more of that leadership role and leading. I don't know what their overall plan is. If this is going to be the ragtag team of rebels, if this is going to be Bolin and the Rogue Squadron,
That'd be amazing.
That would be awesome. I want that to happen now. Too bad the episodes are already completed, or else I would be like, Bryan, you guys, get on this.
Well, I mean, it could still happen. I mean, basically, he could be going from prison to prison, building his own army of prisoners, and then at the end, it could just kind of erupt into a full-on rebellion, and I think that would be great.
And then Bolin is crowned Earth Emperor.
Yes.
That is so awesome, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know what. There's something about that seems like not quite right for the show.
Right.
But I want a picture still, just some sort of picture of Bolin as the Earth Emperor.
Fan writers, drawers, fan artists, draw us things and tweet it at us.
With Bolin on his throne of magma.
Yes. That'd be, oh man.
But now we end this episode on a very, very sobering point. We see Kuvira and Baatar Jr. at the Banyan Grove tree, tapping into it as Baatar Jr. says, there's far more spiritual energy here than there was at the ones in Republic City. And then we see Kuvira give the order to just, harvest everything.
Mm-hmm. Leave nothing standing.
And they're right in the middle of the swamp, about to cut it down, which means that, which is ominous, but also kind of not, because we know that Toph is going to show up and be like, I was really chilling, soaking my feet in mud, it's really awesome, and then all of a sudden I get these, vibrations that somebody's tearing up my house. What's up?
And I'm hoping that she comes in and wrecks things. But I feel like that would be too Deus Ex Machina for the whole thing.
I think she's going to wreck a lot, but is going to just get taken down by sheer numbers, and possibly Kuvira just getting a cheap shot.
Right. Well, I mean, if anything, that means that we might get a reunion between her and her daughters.
I actually think in mine, I think Toph might be taking more of it's going to bring her out of the swamp, and she's going to get directly involved in everything. And then maybe, just maybe, we'll have Zuko, Katara, and Toph doing an old school Team Avatar team up in the season finale to
Nice.
just knock heads about. Maybe.
And then Sokka's ghost comes back, and it's a complete thing.
And then Korra transforms into Aang.
That'd be great.
That would be.
Why aren't we writing for this show? It'd be so bananas.
Yeah, that's probably why we're not. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us this week. Thanks for joining us. Where can they find you, Mr. Tori Miller?
You can find me on Twitter at TauriJ. That's TaurijAY. You can also find me here at AfterBuzz TV on assorted panels, like the Arrow panel and the Flash panel.
And guys, I'm John Quick. You can find me at @NowQuick. And once season 2 of Attack on Titan reaches these shores, you'll probably see me on that panel as well. But until then, you'll just have to settle for seeing me once a week for Legend of Korra, and hopefully Ms. Liz Rishmawi is going to be back with us next week. But until then, enjoy your nachos.
Yes.
Totally stealing Nerdist podcast send off.
Do it.
All right.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AFTERBUZZ TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AFTERBUZZ TV or its owners or principals.